Well, I think there was a time not all that many years ago when this would have been an seemingly difficult, I wouldn't say impossible, but a very difficult prosecution to bring, because the amount of time, the fact that there was apparently a relationship between one of the victims and the defendant that had gone on for a period of time. That I think the DA's office would have looked at and said, what's the point? We're not going to get 12 people to agree to convict. I think times have changed. There is no question that Tom Mesereau, who at the moment is the defense lawyer in this case and is well known for having represented Michael Jackson in the child molestation case in which he was acquitted, and also having been the first primary lawyer in the Robert Blake murder trial, another famous Hollywood celebrity. He's very good. And I have little doubt that he will be arguing the length of time, the issues with civil action potentially involving a monetary reward to perhaps the alleged victims, the fact that so long went, it took so long for them to bring charges. And in fact, it wasn't all that many years ago when these charges would have probably been blocked by the statute of limitations until we basically all but eliminated it in sexual assault cases in California, so that these cases, though they might be older, can still be brought today, whereas they couldn't have, say, in the 1990s. There are a couple of alleged victims of this defendant whose cases are not being brought. But under California law, you've got to understand that although those victims may not have their cases actually tried, nothing stops the prosecution potentially from calling them as witnesses to show that the defendant has done this before and therefore is more likely to have done it in this case, as evidence the jury may consider for that purpose. The very fact that a conviction was obtained in the Bill Cosby case, when it looked to many as if the prosecution would never succeed because the amount of time involved and potential other issues with the complaining witness, the very fact that others testified to Cosby having done something similar to them, I believe, probably had a considerable impact. In fact, if you talk to criminal lawyers, cases in which that kind of pre-existing evidence of crimes of a similar nature have been admitted in sex cases, and there's a limitation on those prior cases. They're only admissible in child molestation and these sexual assault cases. The number of cases won once the jury has heard that the defendant has a track record of doing this is actually relatively small. So it gives the prosecution a tremendous advantage to be able to use that kind of witness testimony in